Wally Cleaver was the kind of older brother that we all wish we'd had growing up. Sadly, all of the major news outlets are now reporting that the actor who played Wally, Tony Dow, has passed away at the age of 77. This past year has been a tough one for Tony, who not only spent time in the hospital with an extreme case of pneumonia, but was also recently diagnosed with cancer. The purpose of this video is not to mourn, but rather celebrate the life of Tony Dow, the actor who played Wallace Cleaver for 6 seasons on network television, and quite frankly has been Wally ever since, as the show lives on in perpetuity through reruns and syndication. Did you know that Tony wasn't the producer's first choice for the role? In fact, when the pilot was filmed for Leave It to Beaver, another actor was cast as Wally. Unfortunately for him, but fortunately for the rest of us, over the course of just a few months, that young actor had a growth spurt and was almost as tall as Hugh Beaumont, the actor who played Ward Cleaver. Because of that, the decision was made to recast the character and Tony was hired. And the rest, as they say, was TV history. As I mentioned earlier, although it feels like it ran forever, Leave It to Beaver only aired for 6 seasons. While its premiere season was on CBS, the remaining 5 seasons were on ABC. After the show ended, Tony found work guest starring on shows like My 3 Sons and Dr. Kildare. He loved acting, but truth be told, there were other things that were equally as important to him. From 1965 to 1968, Tony set aside his career in the entertainment industry and served in the National Guard, focusing on serving both the community and his country. The National Guard is unique because they respond to domestic emergencies, overseas combat missions, counter-drug efforts, reconstruction missions, and so much more. After his stint in the National Guard, Tony continued to find roles in TV and in movies, but at some point he realized that the income he was earning from those roles would need to be supplemented with a day job. So during the 70s, he worked in the construction industry while furthering his skills by going back to school and studying journalism and filmmaking. Of course, the 80s brought us the wonderful revival of the Leave It to Beaver program titled Still the Beaver. At some point, I think it was also called The New Leave It to Beaver. Whatever it was called, it was wonderful to catch up with these old friends again. During the early 90s, Tony admitted that he had been suffering from clinical depression for years. In an article by Clifford Terry of the Baltimore Sun, he said that there was some irony in the fact that he'd been on a program that epitomized the ideal world of the 50s, and yet here he was battling depression. Never one to shy away from trying to do good, trying to make lemonade out of lemons, Tony became an honorary spokesperson for the National Depressive and Manic Depressive Association. Tony also found that he could still be part of the entertainment industry and not always be in front of the camera. During the 90s, he directed shows like Harry and the Hendersons, Deep Space Nine, Babylon 5, and yes, that incredibly subversive and yet still loving homage to Leave It to Beaver, Get a Life, starring the one and only Chris Elliott. Even more recently, Tony had reinvented himself again as a sculptor of abstract bronze figures. Tony said this about his work: "My creations are abstract and not meant to represent reality, but rather the truth of the interactions as I see and feel them." While Tony's works of arts have been in galleries worldwide, I absolutely love that one of Tony's pieces was on display in the backyard garden of Barbara Billingsley. It is so very difficult to lose someone as awesome as Tony. Fortunately, he left behind many amazing gifts for us to enjoy, from episodes of Leave It to Beaver to his amazing artwork. Not too long ago, I published a video about Tony's enduring friendship with his Leave It to Beaver co-star Jerry Mathers. There it is. Go ahead and click on it. I'm pretty much done here. Thank you so much for watching.